Okay, so what we're going to do now is build a business process model, and we'll center it around the pool to do with the clerk. For this business process model, what we'll do is we get the registration, and then we'll make a decision on whether it's a new vehicle, and if it is a new vehicle, we'll issue a new registration. If it's not a new vehicle, then we'll calculate a renewal fee and then issue a renewal notice. So to begin with, we will set up the business process diagram, and the start is the higher education. The pool we're focusing on will be the clerk pool, so we select clerk, and we'll create a process within inside clerk, so we'll select the clerk process. To begin with, we need to create a start event for this process. So in BPMN elements, we'll select event and start event. So let's create a start event, and we call it the start for clerk. Okay, let's quit that for a second, and if we move down to clerk, you can see start event. In order to start this process, we need to have a task, a receive task, that will allow us to get the registration. So let's go into BPMN elements. A task is part of an activity, so we select activity, task, and it's a receive task. Now the receive task means it'll receive a message from outside of this pool, the clerk pool. So let's create the receive task, and we'll call it get registration. Okay, let's quit that. And get registration has been created. In order to attach them, we want to start off with start event, then we move to the get registration. So let's create a sequence flow, and again it's a connecting object, and we want to connect the start clerk with get registration. So let's create a sequence flow, and we call it start clerk to get registration. With this, if we now select on the start clerk to get registration, we have to create a sequence flow source ref, and the source for this sequence flow is the start clerk. So let's scroll down to start clerk, and we'll select it. Now this is a triple, so we need to put in a full stop to indicate the triple has ended. We go back to the start clerk to get registration, has sequence flow target ref, and we select the get registration, and likewise we create a full stop. So if we click OK, so we can see that the start clerk is now connected to the get registration. Once we have the registration, we then want to make a decision on whether it's a new vehicle or not. So for that, we need to bring in a gateway. So if we select BPMN elements, gateway, now we're going to make a decision on whether it's a new truck or a new vehicle, or it's not a new vehicle. And in that way, we will take the control flow will either be the yes pat or the no pat. So we select exclusive gateway, and it'll be based on a data. So let's create a data-based exclusive gateway, and we call it new vehicle. So again, we can see that new vehicle is created. Again, we need to connect a sequence flow between the get registration and new vehicle. So we go into BPMN elements, connecting object and a sequence flow. Let's create this sequence flow from get registrations, get registration to new vehicle. So we select the get registration to new vehicle. It has a source flow, has a sequence flow source ref, and it's the get registrations, get registration, and again the full stop. So that completes our triple. We also need to put in the sequence flow target ref, and the target is the new vehicle database gateway. And again we put in our full stop, so we can submit that to our database, and we can see our diagram starting to take shape. Now with the new vehicle we're going to make a decision where we'll continue on a yes path. If it is a new vehicle, we're going to issue a new registration. If it's not a new vehicle, we will then calculate the renewal fee and issue a renewal notice. So let's do those quite quickly. We have the tasks here already, so issue new registration, calculate renewal fee, and issue renewal notice. So really all we need to do is put in the sequence flows that link all these. So again, it's the same as we did before for sequence flows. So we can see we've now added two options from the new vehicle. If it is a new vehicle, we can issue a new registration. If it's not a new vehicle, we can calculate the renewal fee and then issue a renewal notice. Now to bring these all back together, we need to use a merge, which is a database gateway but in a merge format. So let's create the gateway. Again, it's an exclusive gateway, database gateway, and we'll call it the merge new vehicle. Okay, and then we just need to create the sequence flows that will join them together. So now we can see they merge back into the new vehicle gateway, and then finally we just want to create an end event, and that'll end the process. So with BPMN element, we select event and end event. We create the end event and we'll call it end clerk. And then finally we just need to connect end clerk to the gateway, the merge new vehicle gateway. So we create a connecting object, sequence flow. Let's call it the merge new vehicle to end clerk. So let's select merge new vehicle to end clerk. It has a sequence flow source reference, which is the merge new vehicle, and a full stop to end that triple. And again we select the merge new vehicle to end clerk sequence flow, has a sequence flow target ref, and the target reference is end clerk, and again a full stop. So we click OK. You can see the business process looks quite good. Let's look back here at calculate renewal fee. In order to calculate the new renewal fee, we would need to get the fee from the fee pool, which is down here. So let's put in a task here called get fee. Because we want to start work on this pool, we need to go back and change the pool to fee. we'll select the fee process, and we select an element. Rather than going through the start event and for fee, let's just pick a task. So select activity, task, and in this case it's a service task, so we can have an operation coming in to get the amount, and we can send it back. So let's create a service task. And we call it get fee. So we scroll down to fee. We can see that get fee is created. Now we just need to create a connection between calculates renewal fee and get fee. That connection is now called a message flow. So let's go to BPMN elements, connecting object, message flow. We create a new message flow, and it's from calculate renewal fee to get fee. So we submit that. We select that message. It has a message flow source ref, and the source ref will be the calculate renewal fee, and we end the full stop. Then we calculate the target reference, and the target reference is get fee. There we go. Now also, if we need to send a message between them, so let's say the vehicle is a particular type, let's say it's a car, so we need to go back in and we need to send a message. So it has it message flow, message ref, and we create a message. So in this case the message will be the vehicle type. So let's scroll down to vehicle type. And click OK. So now we can see a message flow is showing the dotted line going to get fee, and the arrowhead is pointed at get fee, and there's no arrowhead here. Now we did say it was a send receive. It was a service task, which means it can receive and send a response. So let's create the response. So you can see once we put in the message flow returning to calculate renewal fee, you can see the arrowhead is created, so it's in both directions. So that gives you a flavour of how to create a business process model using CRESUS. Again, we can expand on it. For example, issue new registration. That will go to the owner, so we could put in some more maybe processes around the owner and the passing of these messages. So this concludes our session on the use of the CRESUS-T tool. Thank you for taking the time to watch this movie.